So yeah, we'll be doing this once a week. Ooh, I can choose my color. My students chose blue, so I'm definitely not choosing blue. Ooh, I'm going red. I like red. We'll play this once a week over the next 5 weeks. Oh, they've been loving it so far. I even got, you can see I tweeted out earlier, a student texted me that they had fun today going through episode 2 of the game. Plus, they're a bunch of nerds like me. We talk comics, manga, anime, and video games all the time. So the game series adapts the choices you make, sort of be tailored to how you play. And I do already know what happens. This isn't my first time playing, but it's more about how I can talk about how my students are reacting to it. Yep, that's my website, paylistengames.org. And all the curriculum and lesson plans and material I put up there free. So yeah, and as you can see, this game is fairly violent. It is rated mature. The students that I'm playing this one with are all above the age of 17, so I'm able to get away a little more than most teachers.
Get it open. On it. Hey, you think he's gonna show? We'll bring the whole goddamn place down. Stay focused. We'll be out of here before anyone can stop us.
This game won't work for second graders, though.
Christ. Move in.
The hell?
I do like a lot how this game introduces the characters, and you'll see why in a minute.
Gordon, they're on the 52nd floor. I'm going in.
Hey, wait! Wait for backup!
And this game does kind of, I believe it takes place 2 years into Batman being a vigilante.
Home in an ambulance.
So he's still somewhat fresh.
Rest in body bags.
No wonder the cops want him dead.
Hey, you ever seen him?
Yeah, Gotham Zoo. With all the other flying animals.
And it's cool because it's also an original story that Telltale wrote for this, so it's not based on any existing comics or mediums. And it's accessible for any new players. You can see that the gameplay is kind of just using hotkeys and just clicking the buttons that they want you to use. So pretty much any student can hop right in and be able to play, as long as you know which button is which.
Bruce, you can't keep doing this.
I have to.
This is why I like the intro. I like how it hops back and forth between Batman and Bruce Wayne, because you'll notice as the game goes that this is just as much a game about Bruce Wayne as it is a game about Batman.
And people will keep you in the crosshairs until you're shot out of the sky.
My student chose square, so I'm gonna go X. They need something to fear.
They need something to fear.
Shit!
And I like it because you can kind of mold the character how you see fit.
Whatever got in.
Right, if you want him to be more intimidating, you make him more intimidating, more, I don't know, gentle is not the right word, but if you want him to be more relaxed and not as violent, that's also an option. So you can kind of imprint your own personality as to how you would act as Bruce Wayne or Batman.
What was that?
Yeah, it's kind of just a handful of options. I wouldn't say that the narrative branches too much. Usually, like in standard conversation, no matter what you choose, the story's going to progress as the story progresses. It's more about you choosing Bruce's or Batman's personality. And then there's a couple of moments throughout each episode that will have a drastic effect going forward. But that doesn't happen too often.
What the hell is this?
My students love that it's basically like an 8-hour movie. Since Telltale is usually more cinematic than typical games. Scott, man, I recognize you from Twitter. I think we met in person at PAX East
I know you're trying to
2
create
years
a
ago.
myth, but be careful you don't turn into a monster.
Sometimes you need a monster.
Come on! Come on! Come on!
I'm definitely not the best at these hotkeys. Okay, okay. Oh, those are like the special moves as the meter builds up. For middle school students, I would not recommend this game. It is rated mature. It's definitely
big boy.
Not. This is a high school game. There are moments with sexual themes. There's a lot of violence. There's some gore in it. So it's definitely, I would say, 16 and up. So Catwoman just showed up here. I almost got into a fight with my students because one of them mentioned, oh, there's Black Cat, the character from Spider-Man, who is Marvel, not DC. Luckily, the other students in my class told him off for it.
Criminals are becoming afraid of you, so are the police.
It's a scare tactic, Al.
Yeah, I know. He said
Just a
Black Cat from the Spider-Man game. No, I like you too much to fail him.
So far. That doesn't belong to
He actually
you.
just got into a really good college
crossed
program around
lines.
video
You
game
broke the
development,
law.
which is pretty
Here
cool.
I am.
Cut the shit. The law. Don't tell me that's why you do all this. Squeeze into a suit, tie on a cape. Most people dressed up like that end up in Arkham.
No one else will. I'm the only one who gets the job done.
Sounds lonely. Gotta admit it, though. You give a good chase. One day you might actually catch me.
Tonight.
Don't you know not to corner a wild animal? It's dangerous.
Then let's put you in a cage.
Bring it, Bat.
So basically for this game, it's an English language arts class. It's mostly about how storytelling is used in video games. So this one, we went over how dialogue choices either add or take away from the narrative. What's especially cool is you'll see at the end of each episode, they compare your major choices with other players online. So they get to see what they chose against other people and whether or not it actually changes the narrative. And so far, most of them seem to like the dialogue choices a lot. But I know one of the common criticisms for the game is that some of the dialogue choices don't affect the story enough. Right, I know what my student who's currently playing is trying to make Batman like a gentleman. He wants him to be the nice guy, which doesn't always work in superheroes or the vigilante world.
It's over.
I wouldn't be so sure.
one of my students before we started playing actually told me that he hates these types of games, and I think it's because we played one earlier in the year called Emily is Away. It's a love story that ends tragically, so it kind of broke his heart, but after this fight scene, he got really into it.
Two of them now? Jesus! I got it! Wait! Do not shoot!
Definitely recommend Emily is Away for anyone who likes simpler indie games. And then the whole gameplay of that game is all dialogue choices.
Why go to all that trouble for this?
Shit.
This game
A myth
came
can't
out
be killed. You,
I think
however,
like 3 years
are
ago.
flesh and blood.
There is a sequel to it also.
God damn it! I said don't shoot!
No! Wait!
Or it's hard to say when exactly the game came out, because it's released kind of like a season, so this would be season 1, and then there's 5 episodes that were released sporadically over a year, I think. Yeah, absolutely. If you're interested in finding my curriculum
Guess I
for
was
this
wrong
game in
about you
particular, you can just
catching
head over to
me.
my website and it's there for anyone who
Not
wants
sure
it.
if it was for my sake or yours.
I'm gonna be
Who
angry.
put you up to this? Answer me or I let go.
But you won't. You're not that kind of guy. Bye, Bat.
I wish you guys were there to hear my student reactions every time something, even the slightest bit dramatic happens. They all just
Step
start
out of the
screaming in the chat.
And be Bruce Wayne tonight.
Oh, that's a much harder fight.
Don't let tombstones be your family
Yeah, I'm
legacy.
not a very angry person. Tend not to
Well,
stress. I'm always really relaxed, but I can pretend to be angry in video games.
Time to save the city.
Ooh, look at that pixelation. That's not very good. Ooh, and I'm gonna get trophies while playing through this since it's the first time playing on my PS4.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. A humble district attorney like myself is not used to such a ringing endorsement. Even one who cut Gotham's crime rate in half. For too long, this city has burned with corruption and greed under Mayor Hill's authority. But I promise you,
Took a
vote for
while
Harvey
for my
Dent
students to realize that
is a
this guy's
vote to
Two-Face.
finally put your foot down. And together, we can stamp out the fire and save our great city. If only Mr.
The
Wayne,
easiest thing for
my
me to
campaign's
use
largest
is
backer,
my
could have heard that applause,
Nintendo
he would-
Switch, just because
Well, there he
it's
is.
super lightweight. I don't
Fashionable
usually want to
and
lug my
as always.
PlayStation back and forth, but the Switch,
Say
very
hi,
easy to just
Bruce.
throw in my bag and connect to the screen that I have at school.
Hi, Bruce.
Well, I tee him up and he knocks him down. That's how Mr.
That's
Wayne
a
and I
dad
do
joke if I've ever
business.
seen one.
Thank you again, everyone, for your unwavering support.
Sometimes I'll also use my personal computer at school, but yeah, it's usually
Together,
on my Switch.
we will change Gotham.
You want me to give you my best
Mr.
Batman
Wayne,
impression?
thank you
Which
for
Batman?
opening your house to
Which
us.
movie?
Now, I know this is the biggest mansion in Gotham, but I don't think you got lost on your way here.
Where were you?
I know you prefer the brooding billionaire angle.
Just wanted to make an entrance.
You got to give me a
You
movie.
almost
Is
missed
it? Are we talking about the
You
Christian
are
Bale
a
movies?
pillar of this city and my campaign. I need you here, tuxedoed and shaking hands. No one came here tonight to see me.
Some champagne.
They want to see the Bruce Wayne, am I
Pete,
right?
Pete Holmes
And I
Batman.
can see him just fine from here.
This shouldn't be painful. It's not a kidney stone. It's only a little FaceTime with potential donors. Your face,
Let me
specifically,
see.
with a mouth that's saying, support Harvey Dent. We're the grease, they're the wheels. And they're rolling in enough cash and votes to help make
Am I
Gotham
Pete
a place for
Holmes?
families again. So just
Where
put on your billionaire
where do I remember
smile
that?
and
Remind me
don't
what Pete
punch
Holmes
me.
Batman was.
A little liquid courage before facing your adoring public.
He's a
This'll
comedian.
help
Oh,
you
he was
too,
the
Bruce.
was he college humor?
Once I've turned this city around as mayor, you'll be a hero for funding my campaign. Now all I need is a
Funny or
decent
Die.
slogan.
That one. Yes. Okay.
Terrible at those. It always makes me sound like a used car salesman.
All right. How about,
you ran around. My parents are
Dent
dead.
and
Right?
crime.
Just yelling at that at people.
It's not half bad. I'm gonna use that. Bruce, I meant what I said. Together, you and
Don't
me. we
condescend me,
change Gotham.
Chad.
A city free from crime, where children can play in the streets again.
That's what I want too, Harvey, but you know how rough it is out there. We have to shake things up to make that happen.
I know my
Well,
in
you
college,
can
the one
start
that we
with a
would
few
always make
hands.
fun of was in
Come on.
the Dark Knight Rises when he's just constantly yelling, "Where's the trigger?" at everyone. We thought it was hilarious. I don't really know why. I try my best.
Mr. Wayne, I'd like to introduce you to
Bob and Regina Zellerbach. Of course I know these two.
Hello, Bruce.
Oh yeah, the guy who's
Regina
walking through
here is the
Toronto.
chairwoman of Wayne Enterprises, and her husband.
Voted for Mayor Hill last time. I'll admit it, Mr. Wayne. I don't know Mr. Dent from a pothole on Main Street, but I trust your family. If you believe in Dent, we believe in you. After all, whoever you support is a reflection on you.
And we trust someone like you to lead this
Tonight is about
city
Harvey.
to
I know my
greatness.
student didn't do that one.
Well, I'm flattered, truly, but this night is about getting Harvey Dent elected so
Look at all
he
these
can fix
fancy
those
people.
potholes.
I want to go to a party like this.
I think I speak for half the room when I say politicians are puppets.
Oh, come on now, Bob. I'm not
I know there's a
politician.
decision coming up that
I'm a crusader.
I will specifically choose
No
differently
strings
than
attached.
what my student chose.
Old families like ours should flock together, you know, like birds.
You're preaching, dear.
No, it's true. The Waynes and Zellerbachs are reminders of the golden age of Gotham.
This city's luster faded years ago, Mr. Dent. Look at Gotham now. Murder in the streets, corruption in City Hall, that Cape Bat freak dealing out vigilante justice like it's the wild goddamn West.
Oh, Bobby.
So I originally
regarding
started
Golden
making
Age,
curriculum because
seems
I
you're getting
wanted to teach
cranky
with video
in
games,
yours.
and
There's
when I
always
started
hope.
looking for curriculum
Forgive
and
me
lesson
for
plans
being
online,
blunt,
there was
but
nothing to be
One
found
man can't save
at all.
this city.
So I
And it's a
just
dangerous
started
mentality
making my
to think
own.
so. That's how you
Um,
get creeps like this.
And
Batman.
as I started
It all
speaking to
depends
people
on
who
the
were
man.
interested in it,
Sometimes you need a
I
person who
figured
will
I should just
go
start
off
putting those
script.
materials online since
Such
they
as
don't
dressing up
exist
in a
really
bat
anywhere else.
costume?
And taking out the criminals
Or
who
they
ruined
kind
our
of exist
city.
for
Though the
typical
cape may
like
be a bit
education
loose.
games, but I really try my best not to teach with education
worry,
games.
though.
I'm bringing
I
more
am
just
not
standard
doing this
commercial
alone.
entertainment games into
Bruce's
school that I
help,
can then
we're
repurpose for the
replacing
sake
the
of
dangerously
education or to
unsecure
reinforce what
Arkham
I'm already
Asylum
teaching.
with a state-of-the-art mental health facility to help Gotham's most at-risk
But yeah, when you go to your
individuals.
principal and you say you
We'll
want
be
to teach with a video
dedicated
game,
to
they're going to
Thomas
ask,
and Martha
okay, where's the
Wayne,
lesson plan? What
in
standards
hopes that
are
their
you
fate
meeting? What are the
will never
outcomes?
be
How does
repeated.
it adhere to
After all
the
your
Common
parents
Core
did for
standards
this city.
nationwide? Is it going to help them pass the standardized
To be
test? So
killed in a
I really had to
botched
prove that it
robbery in
was
some alleyway.
worth
It was
investing time and
terrible.
effort into.
Truly terrible.
A tragedy like that at such a young age must have been crippling.
If only that
Stop
deranged
talking about my
man had
past. I
gotten
know
the right
the parents are
treatment,
dead.
Maybe, well, I
We're here
don't
for
like to
Harvey.
think about
Forget about me.
maybes. And I'm sure you don't either.
Well, Harvey is the one who's been behind the project since day one. A vote for him is a vote for the memory of my parents.
You'll have it.
Thank you. Thank you both. Not saying I doubted you, but that went better than expected.
It is a night of ringing endorsements.
And there should be something happening
hello.
very soon. Yeah.
Harvey Dent, Gotham's next mayor, and eager to know you.
Vicky Vale. Not interested. And
So
reporter
I didn't
for
know
the
much
Gotham
about Vicky Vale
Gazette.
This is a
before
private
playing this
fundraiser, Miss
game,
Vale.
but
No
she is a
reporters
character from
allowed.
the comics.
Well, you
She's a
don't mind if I
reporter.
stay and ask a few questions, do you, Mr. Wayne?
Well, you can ask me whatever you want at the press conference tomorrow.
No, it's all right. You can stay.
Thanks.
Bruce Wayne's a ladies' man. I can't tell her to
Bruce?
go away.
This is quite the social event, Mr. Wayne.
Oh, come on now. It's so formal. Call me Bruce.
Well, Bruce, you've been going around pleasing everyone tonight.
Right, you guys can already see that we've already spent
How
more
are you
time as
doing?
Bruce Wayne than we have as Batman.
You should enjoy your own party before all the champagne runs out.
Well, I'm doing better now that you're here. Well, I'll tell you, if all these stuffed shirts weren't around, I'd give you the private tour.
Call me Batman.
Mr. Wayne, you've got something on your collar. Is that blood?
Yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not my blood.
It looks like...
Oh, this? No, that's nothing. It just, cut myself shaving.
What, your butler didn't help you this time? Hey, kidding.
Don't be hating on Alfred.
Do excuse me,
Those
Master
fighting
Bruce,
words.
but another guest has arrived.
I'm sure they'll find the bar.
You may want to greet this one personally, sir.
Carmine
Yeah, this guy, Falcone, right? He was
Is
in
the
Batman
Dent campaign
Begins.
soliciting votes from Gotham's
He's the
biggest
one I'm
crime?
Batman.
Falcone's
The first
never
time
been
that he comes
convicted
out.
of anything except being a businessman who
In his
loves
costume.
this city. Excuse us, Miss Vale.
And what kind of business do you think he's in?
The one that controls enough votes to get me into City Hall.
Corruption.
This is the necessary evil of
Corruption.
politics, Bruce. It's in the service of a better Gotham, for all of us. Look, at least hear him out before you kick him out. Falcone requested to speak with you directly.
Jesus, Harvey, inviting a known criminal to your fundraiser doesn't exactly look good for your squeaky clean image.
Let me worry about that. A word of warning, Bruce.
Chad definitely knows his movies.
Play nice.
I will not play nice. I'm gonna play very not
You know,
nice.
I've been in the market for
You can hear the anger in my voice.
Decent walk-up, sky-high ceilings, plenty of room for my cars. I think I'll take it. Though the decor offends my eyes.
I'd never sell it to you.
Man, all flash, no class.
My family.
I'm not
built
an
this
actor.
house. It's not for sale.
I'm always polite.
Everything's for sale, Mr. Wayne. And everyone. Just need to find the right currency. Come on, Falcone.
So here,
Thank
my
you for
student.
welcoming me
This is
into
important.
your
This is an
home.
important moment. 'Cause he put out his hand, so you get to choose whether or not you shake his hand. Everyone's looking at you at this
You're
opportune
a
moment. My student
respectable
chose to shake
man.
his hand because he wants to look strong. So I'm going to refuse to shake his hand.
Gentlemen, perhaps we'll all be more comfortable in the parlor. Follow me, if you will.
Yeah, my student's like, no, mister, I need to look strong. Everyone's looking at me. I can't look like a wimp.
You should know, Mr.
But
Falcone.
that
my
is an important
analysts
moment
say
in
we're
terms of
raising
how
triple
the
what Mayor Hill
dialogue
has-
branches in the game, because it does play into how the story will roll out a little bit later.
You'll be fine out there, Harvey. I saw plenty
And
of
my student
skirts to
also
keep
did
you
not
busy
let
for a
Harvey
few
in,
minutes.
so I will let him
Harvey
come in.
stays with us.
A man's home is his castle. I respect that. Seen and not heard.
Whatever you...
What did I say?
My student said that he didn't want him to come in because he wanted to look strong by
Mr.
himself. He
District
didn't want his
Attorney
friend there to
here
help
wants
him out
make
anyway.
Sure the rules are followed.
I told him it was a bad choice.
But in my experience, there's the law, and there's doing what's right. You understand? And I'd rather see Harvey actually help this city instead of just saying he will. The man talks too much.
I say you can
Chaps
do
my
both.
face with words.
Well, I would say you can uphold the law and still do what's right.
To a point. No one gets remembered for staying in the middle.
Mr. Falcone,
No more warnings.
No talking, Harvey. You're just there to sit in the corner. No one has to speak.
About politics, Mr. Wayne. Gives me indigestion. I got enough of that as is. So, let's talk relationship.
Dunce caps are frowned upon now in education. We're not allowed to use those.
For me. Be a
At least not in New York. I don't know about other places.
I can get Harvey the mayor's seat.
Leave it on. I'm not helping you.
Pull it out from under him.
My student actually did give him the chalk.
Whatever happened to being a gracious host? Okay, imagine. This is me. And these are all my friends in Gotham. The businesses, restaurants, clubs, docks, unions, politicians. If Harvey gets elected... That's why I came here tonight to your lovely home, hoping to make a new friend. One who can help Mr. Dent see the light.
He just kills people. He doesn't want to humiliate them.
Between your businesses and mine, I bet we employ half the city. Now, we got a good thing going, so I don't see why we
I
shouldn't
get along
team
with
up.
everyone.
Oh, I'm everyone's friend.
Which means you're really no one's. Pick a lane before you have a head-on collision. You listen to me.
One thing about this game is that the characters are very stereotypical in their portrayals of thugs, gangsters, mob bosses, whatever. I wouldn't say it's the top tier storytelling by any means, but it is fun. My students eat all this up. They love it. Because they watch lots of TV novellas when they're at home.
Don't you dare talk
They like
about
the drama.
my father.
You're getting worked up over nothing. Hell, I knew him longer than you did. People don't say no to me. Not for long.
Master Bruce, your guests are leaving. I recommend seeing them out. You wouldn't want to be rude.
You're intruding, Alfred. Go away.
Heed your butler's advice, kid. Oh, and I'm no longer interested in buying the house. The owner's a prick. And he's gonna get what's coming to him.
Wrong movie. That's Star Wars. By the way, if you haven't watched the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars, get on that. It's amazing. It's basically a movie in itself. It's a long introduction. It was about 30 minutes. I will not spoil anything from Clone Wars, just in case you haven't seen it yet. But, really, really good. You should go watch it, please, because I would need more people. My fiance doesn't watch it. I need people to talk about it with. Yeah, episode 1. We're gonna play through episode 1 today. Realm of Shadows.
Another brutal week in Gotham, folks. A string of home invasions rippled through the city's already crime-infested East End. Apparently, the bandits are using stolen GCPD battering rams.
Yes, I'm a normal person who keeps bloody movie tickets on my desk all the time for 25 years.
And we have breaking news tonight. 5 criminals are in custody this evening after a break-in at City Hall.
Totally not crazy. Bruce's mental state is completely normal.
Not all of them. Let's see what she was really after.
Allegations that Dent may have actually been involved in the break-in. Talk about dirty politics.
This part was actually confusing for some of my students, because you can actually walk around a little bit, and he had no idea. I didn't want to tell him. I wanted him to figure it out on his own, but he had no idea that you could actually start walking around by yourself. But it's cool, and the part of video games that people don't talk about a lot is that many of them have actual text that you can read, so we started reading. We're not going to read through all of them now, but we actually started reading through the character biographies, just because there's vocabulary there that a lot of them are not familiar with. Especially the school I teach at is an international school in New York City, so it's all immigrants newly arrived in the country who are all learning English. So playing games is how a lot of them actually practice their English speaking skills. So we would read through these together, which is pretty cool. We don't need to go through all of them right now. You guys, I assume you all know who the characters are. Right, so stuff like this, we'd have someone read out online to learn more about the characters and more about the backstory. Even if it's just like the titles, to get more of the background info, because it would take a while to read everything, especially with students whose native language is not English.
The police don't have any suspects at the time. 2 more patients have gone missing from Arkham Asylum, bringing the total number of escapees from the half-prison, half-mental hospital to 15 this year.
Arkham Asylum never seems to be doing its job at all. There's always abuse happening there. There's always people escaping. There's always violence. They should probably close that place. Let's go look at the...
Mayor Hill's Gotham Beautiful Act takes effect today, making it possible for landlords
Where do I plug this thing in?
tenants immediately and without cause. The new law was created in order to allow
Oh, let's go look at the bloody tickets.
property owners greater ability to modify and improve
The memorial to my parents' movie tickets, soaked in their blood still.
So if you come home from work tonight and find all your stuff on the street, don't worry. It probably isn't anything you did wrong.
No, those are just the gadgets. Ah, right there.
More on this after the break.
Violence in Gotham has always skyrocketed. It has literally never not skyrocketed.
Encrypted.
Wayne Manor has 7 bedrooms, 2 kitchens, a library, a gymnasium, a basketball court, and a movie theater.
And a Batcave.
Yet I always find you here, in a dark, damp cave.
Also, 7 bedrooms definitely seems light. You would think a house that big definitely has more.
Yeah, well, this is the only room that really matters.
Well, then you won't mind if I skip cleaning the rest. The dusting is murder.
And you can see that the dialogue choices are timed. I'll show you in the next one what happens if you don't choose.
Process.
What are we looking at?
Let me try a different angle.
Let's see. I don't remember exactly what I'm supposed to do.
This is a map
there
of
we
the
go.
East Side shoreline.
First time we were playing through episode 1, I actually was in a meeting with the other teachers at the same time. I had 2 computers set up.
That port.
Maybe it's where Mayor Hill picks up his dry cleaning.
Can't make sense of it yet.
Don't make jokes, Alfred.
There's still
it's not time
plenty
for that.
of files to decrypt.
And in the meantime,
I wonder how much of the tech stuff in this game actually makes sense, or if it's just techno babble like in every other TV show.
Yeah, the same couldn't be said for the bar. I had to literally pry Mrs. Zeller back away. But you'll be pleased to hear everyone has left, including Mr. Falcone. Before the game switched from billiards to cutthroat. I'd recommend leaving the fist fights to your...
So I'm going to show you. You can see there's the meter, right? And if I don't choose anything, then you'll see Bruce just doesn't say anything.
You don't have to take my advice, Bruce. But
right.
Doesn't mean
sometimes that happens with my students because English is not their native language. Sometimes they can't always read the text at the appropriate speed. But for most of these minor decisions, it doesn't really affect the story that much, so it's fine.
Though people like this Catwoman aren't helping. Is she new to town?
Never seen her before. Hopefully, she's just a tourist. I'll check the codex.
Tourists don't go to Gotham. The cat burglar.
Found her.
She's a new criminal on the scene, had several recent break-ins. She's effective and doesn't leave many clues behind. Currently, GCPD has no leads. I wish I knew more about her. Oh, you will learn a lot about her.
Not much to find, apparently.
Few burglaries, break-ins. Seems to lay pretty low.
You could learn a thing or two from her. You can't step outside without it ending up in the news lately. As Bruce or Batman.
That's not the point. I want criminals to know I'm out there. Batman isn't hiding from anybody.
I'm Batman.
I was talking about Bruce.
No one cares about Bruce.
I don't mean
He's
to
Batman.
beat a dead argument, but...
No one's gonna figure it out now. Trust me.
Miss Vale noticed your injuries, so did Mr. Dent. If they put it together with the incident at the mayor's office, it would undo all the long nights and close calls we've endured to get here.
No one will figure it out.
You have to
Just
be
like no one
careful.
figures out Clark is Superman with his glasses.
You're right. I should have canceled the event.
I know how much pressure you're under. I don't mean to add to it.
It's okay. I know you're only looking out for me.
If we make a suit that fits me, we can trade places some night.
Damn,
Though
did you
I'm
not? I
partial
shouldn't
to
have said
heights.
anything.
Old men worry, that's all. It's our gift and our curse. One more worry for the list.
I thought I
And he's a
saw
klutz.
this.
He just falls
What,
over things all the time.
20 years?
At least that's how it used to be. You don't really see that
grade
much
school.
more
Indeed.
in
You two were thick as
recent
thieves.
Superman
Oswald,
mediums
however,
or
took
stories.
that role more literally than you.
Going back to watch the Christopher Reeve stuff, right? He fell over all the time, right? He
boxing matches,
bumped
arms
into everything.
dealing, prison stints.
That's a criminal grandstand.
Or the comic All-Star
If I'm using
Superman.
the
That's a
expression
great one.
correctly.
He's a bumbling fool as Clark
Fortunately,
Kent in
you
that
are.
one.
Oswald claimed he only wanted to catch up, but his behavior following his family's collapse is troubling. Why he's returning now, I haven't the faintest idea.
I'll give him a
He just
chance.
wants to reconnect. Criminal record or not, he's still an old friend.
The way that they
change over
portray
the years.
Penguin in this game is
If I
interesting.
remember
He's not
correctly,
the
Oswald was
Danny
fond of the
DeVito
old
type
firecrackers in the
that we all
toilet.
love.
I worry what he's graduated to. Even though you and young Master Cobblepot used to be close.
We're
I
actually
advise you to
childhood
be
friends in this
cautious.
one.
But I know you can't abandon a good mystery until it's solved.
I'll be careful, Alfred.
When you see what's become of his park, I think you will.
The one that got away. She'll come back. It's okay. That was the name of the trophy I just got. The one that got away. So there's scenes like this that are kind of stereotypical, and even some of my students pointed it out. With like homeless people everywhere, the shopping carts everywhere, there's graffiti everywhere, and they know, like we all know it's Gotham, but right, we're in New York City, and they're just like, isn't this kind of exaggerated a little bit too much? I'll give him some change. Bruce can be a good person. Why does Bruce Wayne have quarters in his pocket? He is a billionaire. He's worth like $10 billion. Like, yeah, my students are in the Bronx, right? Which, you know, they're wonderful areas of the Bronx, but the Bronx is notorious for violence in certain areas, and I don't think there's anywhere in the Bronx that looks like this.
Great. There's the statue, but no Oz.
Don't mind me, just Bruce Wayne walking around this crime-ridden little park. This guy looks nice. Let's go talk to this guy.
Hey.
Beat it.
Okay. Some of the reactions are weird in this game. The facial reactions. Ooh, now I can go to the statue. Oh, there's more graffiti. Oh, that's behind the statue. Okay, go ahead, Bruce. It's fine. Also, I feel like this game is implying that, you know, was there even graffiti on the wall there? Did the graffiti even show up? I feel like this game sort of implies that graffiti is always a bad thing, but some graffiti could be pretty sweet, like at times, at many times. Some of the graffiti on the way to, on the subway, not on the subway, but as I see out the window of the subway going to work, is just like art.
But this
I already gave away all my quarters, man. I got nothing left for you.
Hey, you heard him, man.
Sorry, fellas. I've got nothing.
End him.
Gentlemen!
Oz.
Keep walking, all right?
So yeah, so this guy's
This
Penguin.
don't concern you, twerp.
You see,
Definitely not like
that's
Danny
where you're
DeVito.
mistaken.
He's
My old
British
mate
in this
and I have
one.
some catching up to do. And you're ruining the moment! Come here. Think that'll do?
Bruce, don't fight. You're gonna give it away.
Stay down! This used to be a nice place. No,
Or where'd you learn to disarm a gun like that, Bruce? Oof. No, that's how you kill someone.
This is my park! Mine!
You can have the park. It's garbage, man. Look at what's going on over there.
Oh, hey, Bruce. You've got a little, Yeah, good as new.
So Bruce and Cobblepot were childhood friends.
That was a right little scrap, eh?
Why does he have a British
Nothing
accent, even if his
kickstarts
parents
the
are
system
British?
Like a dash of adrenaline, eh? Besides, someone needed to deal with the
went too
rubber
far.
situation here.
You didn't need to take it so far.
Some folks have fine hearing, Bruce. Others don't get the message unless it's beaten into them. It's been what? 2 decades?
And you know what? I haven't been mugged once that entire time.
That wasn't why I brought you here, mate. Right now, I am trying to recognize the little Bruce I used to run around this place with. Back when it wasn't, you know, like this. This park used to mean something.
It means
A
something
place
now.
was safe for kids, for families. People came from all over to visit.
This place is a wreck. It's better off bulldozed.
This park still matters to me, Bruce. It's all my folks left behind.
I do like that we get some backstory to
This
Penguin
city
in this game. And learn a little bit about him and his parents. And my students appreciated the different take on the character since they only know the Danny DeVito version of him.
Ended it yourself, you did. My family's fortune. There's nothing left, Bruce.
I know. Alfred told me.
It's funny, huh? Same place that ground my family to dust. Gave you the good life.
Ooh,
Used to run in the same
jealous
circles
or
we did.
envious? I forget which one is the correct
Hobnobbing
word.
parties, round the world vacations, unlimited
I think my
potential.
student said I lost my parents
Now
too,
all I
so I'm gonna
got
say that's
is this
how
park.
things are.
Well, that's just the way it goes sometimes. It's out of our control.
Well, obviously, but you don't have to be a dick about it. You know, when I saw you at the party last night, I thought, Bruce Wayne. Hasn't changed a bit. Maybe I was wrong. Shouldn't have been a surprise when I saw you with Carmine Falcone. Made himself right at home. That
No,
oily-
I didn't shake his hand though.
Wish I could have punched that grin into the back of his throat.
Falcone was an uninvited guest. That's it. I never want to see his face again.
On that, we can agree in earnest. Falcone made a stack of cash and corpses a mile high, ruining families like mine. All he needs is a little push.
See, I like villains who think that they're doing the right thing and not just being bad
It'll
for
be a treat
the
to
sake
watch
of
him
being
in
bad.
pain,
So they kind of seem to be making Penguin here
Sorry, mate.
in
This
that
reunion's got a
capacity
lot more
where
grim than I planned.
he sort of has
Things are
reasoning
gonna
for
be on the
why
upswing soon,
he's
no?
a bad person, why he commits crime.
A
Obviously, it's not
revolution is
right, but you at
knocking
least
on Gotham's
understand
door,
where he's
and
coming
I'm
from.
here to let it in.
Still don't know why he's British,
Which
but
brings
that's
me to
whatever.
you, Bruce. You see, you throw a rock in any direction, you break a window that Wayne Enterprises owns. As the rich and powerful go, oh, you top Gotham's list.
No, Batman tops.
But when my revolution starts, we're gonna smash windows and cross off names all the way down. Like I said, it's not gonna be pretty. It's gonna be
I think my student
beautiful.
said I'm not your
Are
enemy.
you threatening me, Oz?
Take it as you like. I've got great affection for you, Bruce. I really do. Which is why I'm warning you. When this whole thing starts, make sure you're on the right side.
I don't think I'm really gonna have a choice which side I'm on.
Good seeing you, Bruce, but I got some rocks to collect. Cheers.
What time is it? There's a press conference soon. So we're probably about halfway through this episode, if I remember correctly. Maybe some weird audio there.
Mr. Wayne, over here, right here.
I like the car
This
though.
way.
Bruce, Bruce!
Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone. Morning, Mr. Dent.
I never know how I feel about people naming buildings
Hey, Bruce,
after
you mind if we
themselves.
swap cars? I mean, mine isn't fast and the
I feel like
paint's
you just give it a
rusting out.
normal name instead
Boy,
of
does she have charm.
Thomas and Martha Wayne Memorial Hospital.
We didn't bring you all out here to discuss cars, honestly. Now, we're here about Arkham Asylum. Ever since it opened its doors, Arkham has been a breeding ground
Bruce is
for
getting
the
a
criminally
text.
insane.
And you have the option
Its
to ignore
methods for
them.
rehabilitation
And my
proved
student ignored them,
its
so
security
I'm going
lacking.
to
The
check
rate of death
what's
and
going on.
suicide inside the asylum itself
Even though you should not be
is truly
probably
terrifying.
texting in front of a press
Worse
conference.
still, those who do get out, or God forbid escape, are even more dangerous than before they went in. Arkham Asylum is a cancer on Gotham. But today, with a sizable contribution from this man here, we break ground on a state-of-the-art mental health care facility. One that will improve the well-being of Gotham and its citizens for years to come.
Yeah, Arkham Asylum really needs to be
Mr. Wayne has a few
demolished
words
and
he'd like to say.
removed. There's way too
Bruce?
much abuse going on over there. The parents
My
would be
parents
honored.
loved Gotham. They invested their blood, sweat, and tears in this city.
And apparently their money.
You know, when I was 9 years old, my parents took me to see a movie about a hero.
I still
in
have the
mask.
tickets
A
on
hero
my desk.
who stood up to
Soaked in their
oppression
blood.
and defended the people from injustice, no matter the cost. That night, my parents paid the ultimate cost defending me from a man who needed the kind of help this new facility will provide.
Let's put a dent in crime. That's a dad joke. Dad
With
joke.
this facility and our next mayor, we can put a dent in crime.
Today, on the anniversary of that fateful night, we dedicate this facility to Thomas and Martha Wayne and usher in a new era of healing for Gotham.
I'm, sure you all have plenty of questions about the new hospital, so let's open it up. You first, Miss
Bad
Bell.
idea, Bruce. Don't
Thank
open
you.
questions. It's a comic
With
book.
the
It's never
opening
going to
of
be good.
this new hospital, what does this mean for Arkham Asylum? What happens to the old building?
Tear it
We
down.
should
Get rid of
tear
Arkham
down the
Asylum. It should
walls
not be a thing.
and erase it from the map. I don't want us lingering on past mistakes. I want us to focus on Gotham's future. All right, who's up next? You there.
Mr. Wayne, Julia Remark of the Tribune. My sources say you welcomed alleged mob boss Carmine Falcone into your home. You and Mr. Dent even spoke with him behind closed doors.
He was Harvey's guest. No, he's no friend. I can't throw Harvey under the bus just yet.
He was an unwelcome guest. That's all. Next question, please.
Please keep your questions on topic, people. We're here about the hospital, remember?
I'm going to read it since my student said to ignore.
But Mr. Wayne, this morning the Globe received evidence of an offshore bank account managed by Carmine Falcone and your father, Thomas Wayne.
What exactly are you implying?
Transactions connected to organized crime going back years and continuing to
So I
this
do like
day.
this aspect of the story
paper
because it's
trail
not
ties
something
your
that's from the
family
comics,
directly to
I
the mob.
believe. So adding
Care to
some
comment?
criminality to Bruce's parents is something that I enjoyed reading about. No
I
comment.
don't comment on rumors. Why don't we just stick to real journalism here?
Mr. Wayne, is all your money dirty?
Is the Wayne family legacy built on lies?
Did you know about this, Bruce?
If you're
How
a
long has your
billionaire,
family
there's a
been dealing with
chance that
Falcone?
your legacy is
Could
built
the
on lies.
allegations be true?
What aren't you telling us?
Does the mob sign Wayne Enterprises paychecks?
My parents were entrepreneurs, philanthropists, not common criminals. It's absurd.
Mr. Wayne!
How long has your family been dealing with Falcone?
Could the allegations be true?
Did you know about this, Bruce?
What aren't you telling us?
I'm sorry about this, Bruce.
Now I'm just imagining Donald Trump as Batman at
Damage
night.
controls my territory. We'll talk later. Everyone, please settle down. I'll be fielding your questions from here on out. Please, let's try to keep this civilized.
Bruce, I've been trying to reach you. The police are inside the manor.
That's not good. I don't know how I feel about the eyes in this game. The eye animation. I feel like sometimes, like, when the person looks surprised, it looks kind of weird. Yeah, the constant twists and turns are something that kids eat up. My students love every time there's anything somewhat dramatic.
Put it back.
For either
Afraid we
Bruce or
can't,
for
Mr.
Batman.
Wayne.
Says who?
This warrant. It's not personal. I had the boys turn the lights off, keep a low profile.
You're making
There's
a
gotta
mistake.
be a mistake.
That's what we're here to find out. Maybe we made a mistake. Maybe you did.
You can tell I was very angry when I said that.
Alfred, keep an eye on them. Make sure they only take what they have to.
Of course, sir.
I meant what I said about not personal.
It's
The
okay,
only one
Gordon, we all
files
love
related
you.
to Wayne Enterprises. The warrant covers your place, pardon me, places of residence, and any companies you own. Your holdings are extensive.
And what do you expect to find?
That's for our analysts back at the precinct.
Did I
to
break my
figure
remote? What do you mean?
out. I can't comment. It's a valid warrant. I gotta serve it. Mayor Hill signed off on this himself.
Clearly the
As long
mayor
as
is
he's mayor,
corrupt.
he calls the shots.
Well, Hill has a history of making his opposition disappear.
Rumors and allegations, Mr. Wayne, that's all. But if they become fact, I'll handcuff him myself, same as any other crook. I don't know how your neck ended up on Mayor Hill's chopping block, but here we are.
Hill knows if I go down, Harvey's campaign goes down too.
That'd be a real shame. Mr. Dent's the only DA I ever
It
trusted.
was right
to
around
get
here where
convictions
some of my
stick.
students started talking
As
about how,
mayor,
oh,
I
well,
think he can
we
finally
definitely
turn
gotta go
things
visit
around
Mayor
for
Hill.
us.
Beat the crap out of him.
For all our sakes, I pray you've got nothing to hide.
I might be angry, but I'm not gonna break something that cost money. Let's not be ridiculous. My parents. So I actually like this shot a lot. You'll see why.
Take whatever you want.
You don't have to do this.
Right, this is the kind of stuff that you can't get in a book, and it's why. I mean, you can get a scene like that in movies, but I want to bring in mediums like this so that students can see that type of storytelling device used, right? With the shadows behind him, because that's not something that they can just read. Especially because my students who are learning English, if they read a scene like that, they'd focus so much on just translating that they might miss the actual meaning behind the words.
I'm a bit busy right now, Miss Vale. As you can see, Gotham's finest, not the best house guests.
Yeah, the kind who steal things. Listen.
Yeah, the pearls
Bruce,
are in every single time you see Bruce's parents die, there's always the pearls.
Attention. I can help you get the right kind of attention. Through my connections at the Gazette, I have all kinds of access. I can dig up whatever you need.
My students said I appreciate it, so I'm going to go with what's your angle.
What's your angle?
Not all reporters just want a headline. Some of us are old-fashioned. I still want the truth. The Gazette received this supposed
I don't think I've ever actually met a reporter, so I don't know if this is a good representation of one.
Sources. There isn't a shred of hard proof.
Still, allegations like this, they don't magically appear. Someone is going after my family, after me.
Obviously, the sender didn't identify themselves. We have no idea who it could be. I mean, no one's even done their due diligence on this yet. The press
what's interesting it was right around here, I believe, where one of my students, a girl,
Hill wants me
was mentioning how much she liked the game and how she doesn't really particularly like superheroes. She never really connected with Batman, but because this game is focusing so much on Bruce, she was actually making a connection with him and some of the other characters in the game, because it wasn't just people in costumes fighting.
You're the first target on Hill's list. By tonight, this scandal will be broadcast to every screen in Gotham. Everyone will be talking about it.
This isn't my first.
And I could note, usually when the class I'm teaching with this, I explicitly made it so that half the students in it are boys and half the students in it are girls.
And stop it. You need to get out ahead of this. Your side is what matters, not wild speculation.
My student refused, so yeah, I can give
on the record then.
Whenever you're ready.
Whoever fabricated
Batman Likes
these lies
Justice,
about
right?
my family,
that was the name of that movie.
What they deserve.
Dawn of Justice.
Understood.
Best movie ever made, right?
That's exactly what the people of Gotham need to hear. You're gonna beat this, Bruce. The Waynes always come out on top.
Goodbye, Miss Vale.
I don't know. 2 of them ended up dead in an alley. I don't know if that means coming out on top.
I hate to admit it, but everyone smells smoke. A fire is heading this way.
Batman has made plenty of enemies, but my family? We've done nothing but support Gotham, even in its darkest days.
All this on the anniversary of your parents'...
It's not a coincidence. Harvey's the district attorney. He should have told me this was coming.
Then find out why he
But
didn't.
Harvey has 2 faces. Remember? This was my student's favorite scene in this episode.
A warrant? What the hell's going on? Wait, does this have to do with what the reporters were talking about this morning? That press conference turned into a bloodbath.
I'm in a lot of trouble, Harvey.
Gotta help me, Harvey.
Your help to get me out of it.
Yes, of course. Of course, whatever I can do. Mayor Hill authorized this?
Yeah. Then the cops raid my house, taking everything related to Wayne Enterprises. Computers, hard drives, files.
Oh, son of a bitch.
You're the goddamn DA, Harvey.
I didn't know about this. I swear.
Every time someone curses, my student, Starlin, who's streaming, just goes, oh, Mister, you hear that? Every single time without fail.
Okay, I believe you, Harvey. Mayor Hill's trying to screw us both over with this move.
And then he's made 2 enemies. I just don't get it. Why would Hill stick his neck out over this? Just to tangle you up in some frivolous investigation? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, what could he possibly hope to accomplish other than a few cheap headlines?
That is exactly what I intend to find out.
I intend to
Easy,
find out.
Bruce.
Did I sound angry there? Did I do it?
What a mess.
Or do I still need some practice?
Bruce, I wish I could just make this go away, but I'm not sure if I can. If I get in the way of this investigation, Hill would be able to spin it as a conflict of interest. And that wouldn't be good for either of us. It would jeopardize the entire campaign.
We need to fight back. Hill cannot get away with
Thank you.
this.
I've been
There might be a
practicing for the
war we
past
can
10
win.
minutes about how to sound.
Will be
I'm a very
behind you,
monotone
just
sounding
like I
person.
am.
There's not a
There
lot
you
of
are.
oomph in my language.
Hey, you?
So right here, my students
gotta
lost
have
their
it be
minds.
right.
No, just...
Like,
glad you
oh,
made
what a
it.
coincidence.
You didn't tell me you were bringing a friend to dinner.
This is Selena.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Just election
And I think at this point, my
nonsense.
students again were
I
teasing me
think
by
we
saying it's
both
Black
welcome a
Cat.
change of topic.
I think we've met before.
You do look familiar.
Everyone knows who Bruce Wayne is.
Do they?
Pleasure to meet you, Miss...
Kyle.
Miss Black Cat.
It's a strong grip you've got there.
You didn't know that
Don't
bats have
worry.
strong grips?
I'm not gonna fall.
Oh, right, sorry.
Selena's new to town. I've been showing her around Gotham, introducing her to people.
You're an excellent tour guide, Harv.
Well, if I lose the election, I guess I can drive one of those double-decker tour buses around town.
What happened to your eye?
How'd you get that shiner?
Bruce?
It's okay. Money doesn't buy manners, right?
The more you know.
I was mugged.
I'm gonna Google that later
I'm
and
just angry I
check
let that
whether or not you're
masked
lying to
freak
me.
get away with all my stuff.
You're a
I
doctor,
still
so
can't
I'll
believe I
believe
let
you
you
for
walk
now.
home alone. I should have called you a car.
It's not your fault.
Well, that's terrible. Did they catch the guy?
Not yet. But if they don't, I will.
It's probably long gone by now. Whatever that idiot took.
I hope not. These were important materials.
Ooh, sensitive?
Very. I don't know how I'm gonna explain this to my client. When things like this happen in my line of work, people tend to overreact.
We should just be thankful you got away with a
Ooh,
black
be
eye.
snarky, Bruce. Be snarky.
So, what do you do for a living?
It's complicated. High risk, high reward.
Ah, stock market, huh?
Something like that. At least I'm not the only one who's taken a beating. That press conference? Oof.
We've got it under control.
Ooh, we gotta patent that Batman the musical. Batboy the musical?
I'll handle it. Someone at my office has to know what's going on.
Alright, start writing the script. For next year, I'll get some of my students and we're gonna make this a reality.
Excuse me a moment. Hey, it's Harvey.
You know, once social distancing lets up, we can actually see each other. Ooh, these are some fighting eyes. I don't even think there's a prosthetic out there that can match
Nice
that
to meet the
jawline.
real you.
Tell me Batboy exists?
In case you're getting any ideas, no one would believe you.
Right. This explains a lot,
What's the
actually.
concrete for?
How you can afford the fancy armor, the toys. Wouldn't Harvey be surprised? Not to mention, everyone in this cafe.
Sorry about the black eye.
It's not the first time a man's hit me.
Sorry to hear that.
Don't worry. I'm not gonna expose you. Yet. I'm curious about something, though. I do what I do for money, but you're... Bruce Wayne. What's your excuse? I have to. But you... Why take the
I have
risk?
my reasons.
I think you know enough already. The rest is my secret.
And here I was thinking we were starting to get somewhere.
Hold me, Bat Boy.
How disappointing. You have something that belongs to me. I want it back. This is awkward for me. I'm used to robbing people, not the one being robbed.
Be sarcastic. Be
It must be
sarcastic.
important. What's on the drive?
I don't know.
You don't know what you've stolen.
I've heard
It's
Bat
not
Boy
my
has
business
very
to know.
soft hands, so I
My
wouldn't mind him
clients don't
holding
know who
me
I
at all.
am, and I don't know who they are, or what they're moving.
But you know who I am.
These people I'm working for, they don't screw around. If I fail to deliver that drive, it's gonna cost a lot more than money.
Well, looks like you've made your bed.
No, we've made this bed. And
Bats
I'm not
are
gonna
the
lie
only
in it
mammals
alone.
that can fly, so I
You
assume
own
they
me.
do have the strongest grip out of
If
all
they don't
mammals
get
that
what
can
they
fly.
want, there will be consequences. I don't like consequences. In
I
fact,
can
I
help
spend
you, I
most of my
guess.
time avoiding them.
All right, you want my help? You got it. What can I do?
You can give me back the drive.
Not possible.
Listen, I don't have a lot of time. My
It's true, they're the only
employer
ones
is
called Bats.
expecting me to
You got
drop
me
it
there.
off.
Where?
Just give it back.
The address.
Just give it
now.
back. They're
No,
like two little
give me
siblings
the drive.
fighting. Ooh, I get to be angry again. Don't piss me off.
You are really starting to piss me off.
Oh, there you are. I was hoping you'd come out and play.
Ooh.
Write it down. Now.
I'm not gonna hit my
My
coffee table, though. I
contact.
don't want to scare my fiance.
He'll be expecting a cat, not a bat.
When are you supposed to meet him?
15 minutes ago. Better hurry.
Everything okay here?
Everything's cheeky.
You tell me.
I have my people working on it. We're gonna straighten everything out.
Oh, I don't think we will.
Sorry, but I've got to run.
So soon? Aren't you gonna stay for a drink?
Yeah, Bruce. Stay for a drink?
I'd love to, but I've got another appointment and I really don't want to be late for it.
Oh, all right then. Don't forget to change into your suit.
I'm already wearing my suit. Salita, what could you possibly be talking about? He exercises his neck a lot. What do you expect? If you just move your head around in circles, you'll get a neck like that too.
Alfred, I'm at the warehouse. No sign of Catwoman's contact. It's quiet.
The sound of an ambush. Stay on guard.
So this is one of the scenes where you'll see why this game is not made for middle school students at all. It's definitely more on the violent, mature end of the spectrum, so this is definitely recommended for high school students only.
This wasn't a handoff. It was a massacre.
How many?
I'd have to count the pieces.
Oh, good lord. Who could have done such a
You
thing?
can estimate. There's not
That's what
that
I'm gonna
many
find
people.
out.
Gordon, Eastside Docks, Warehouse 133.
So yeah, this is when Batman gets to go into detective mode.
Analyzing. It's a volatile chemical. Potential psychoactive nerve agent. Vile stuff.
Be very, very careful with that. Who knows what effect it may have.
Have the computer catalog the compound for further analysis.
As you wish.
You have to taste it first before you know that it's blood.
Nothing left to bury.
Alright, I'm gonna guess that pile of bodies is 2 people. Alright, so this is one of the mechanics of the game. I kind of like it. You have to link things to each other, so this is sort of a tutorial to that.
Whatever exploded did so with enough force to obliterate the person standing next to it.
But the chemicals themselves were inert, not explosive.
Well, it appears to have made a pretty big boom.
I'll see what I can piece back together.
Alright, so let's walk around and examine all the bodies. Look over here at this guy.
White Rose. Falcone's calling card.
He's been busy as of
I
late.
think people do that in real life. They put something there and they're like, yep, it was me. I murdered all of these people very violently. I want you to know it was me.
That bad?
Yikes.
Face slashed, throat torn open.
So, not natural causes then.
Pocket.
Skylight Club.
Let's see this guy.
This man's been badly burned.
This part's kind of gross,
Seems
but
to
I love it.
originate from inside his skull. What did this?
This part, my students were freaking out at this part. Like, ugh. Jesus. And I get to wiggle it around a little bit.
Sensors say it's an incendiary round. Phosphorus residue. This could have superheated the contents of the canister,
Causing the aforementioned boom.
Sometimes these circles are hard to see. That little circle right there, yeah.
Blood, broken nails, bits of human flesh.
Clearly some people went crazy. So yeah, now you guys can see the link symbols, right? So now I can link things to each other.
A cop shredded this merc to pieces, barehanded.
God, what would cause someone to do that?
The nerve agent could make them psychotic.
We've seen this story in Batman Begins.
I've seen these outfits before. Same mercs that broke into City Hall.
Yep, same render too, same animation too. Ooh. You know, I think about this a lot, especially when I was watching. I was really into the Arrowverse, and I finished Arrow. I still gotta watch Flash to get caught up with the season. But like, damn, cops are constantly dying in these superhero stories. Like, why would you ever become a cop in this world? You're just dropping like flies.
Canisters were stored here. Canisters of what?
You don't keep a skull-piercing drill gun on you at all
sending
times?
Shrapnel right through the container door.
For once, I'm glad you arrived.
Like, that's the staple of any
after the
toolbox.
heist. Your armor wouldn't have protected you against that.
I'll send you one in the mail, don't worry. We'll get you hooked up.
Looks like a bullet started this.
A normal bullet couldn't have caused that explosion.
Doesn't appear.
We have special
The point of entry
phosphorus
is melted.
bullets that burns people's faces from the inside. Alright, let's go. Mount this thing to the guy's head. I think.
Find a connection.
The bullet that killed the cop is the same type that blew up the canister.
I'm sure they didn't find that at a local gun store.
Good one, Alfred.
It appears military.
Oop, oop. Telltale really needs to work on their these walking sections. Some of the controls are a little wonky, not the smoothest. Alright,
Something was here when the explosion occurred.
So there's 5 episodes total in the game, each of which is about an hour and a half to 2 hours, I believe. So I think, can I connect to these pallets now? What do I connect this to? Is it a dead cop? No. No. Let me look for a second. What's this connect? The blast. Oh, maybe I just link these. Although there is a sequel to this game called, Death, what was it called?
Someone drove off after the
It's
explosion.
not called, like, Season 2, it's called The Enemy Within, is the second game with 5 more episodes.
Falcone leaving his rose here. This is a message.
So with my students,
Dead
we're playing,
cops,
just like with the
stolen
stream, we're
chemicals.
playing 1 episode a
He's
week.
making
So
a big
last week we
move.
played episode 1, and today we finished playing episode 2. And so as they're playing it, there's
One of the
also
snipers hit a canister with an
a
incendiary
handout
bullet, causing
that
it to
I made for them
superheat and
to,
explode.
with questions that
This may
prompt
have been a
them
distraction or a
to
way of
answer
destroying
questions.
evidence.
So, like for
Cops moved in
example,
to
for
stop the
episode
theft.
1,
Falcone's
I
men
asked them
cut down.
to like define who Bruce Wayne is
Then
based on
things
the
turned grim.
dialogue choices that they actually
Possibly
made
due to the
during the game.
psychoactive
About
agent.
so like I'm joking around that
Ripped up a
I'm
merc's face
acting
with his
angry,
bare
but
hands.
my student wants to be as much of a gentleman or a nice
Was
guy as
put down.
possible, so they
Same sniper,
in that
same
answer
type
they
of
could
bullet.
write that Bruce Wayne is a
Looks
more
like Falcone's
upstanding
men got
person
within
or
and
a vigilante
escaped.
who's not always too violent.
Have you located the shooter?
I'm trying to take it in a slightly
No,
different
based on 2
trajectory
impact
since
trajectories,
I've already
the canister
seen
and the dead cop.
what happens when Batman
The
is
shooter
nicer.
could only have a clear
And
shot
then
from
I'm also
there,
having them write about
there,
Bruce and
or
Batman's
there.
interactions with each of the characters
And
throughout this
contaminated
episode,
himself
like
with a
Alfred,
phosphorus
Harvey,
residue.
Gordon,
Program
Selina,
the skimmers to pick up that
Falcone,
signature.
Vicky Vale,
Right
and
away, sir.
Cobblepot. And then at the end of the episode, you guys will see that it'll compare your major choices with other people who played the game. So I'll have them compare the choices that they made in this game with those other people. And it's only one student playing, but he usually asks students to vote about which major choice he should do, so that the other students in the class get and have some input. And I'll give them time to discuss and talk about whether or not they agree with all the choices that the student made during the playthrough. It's interesting because, like, since we're all teaching from home now across the country, I know New York has canceled school has closed school buildings for the rest of the school year. So I've been remote learning. I've been teaching through Zoom online with all my students. And if
Both
I was
targets
still
could
in the
have
school
been
building, I
shot
don't
from
know
here,
if I would have
phosphorus
ever
trace.
used Batman as a game. But because we've been stuck at home, attendance has been lower. Engagement's not as high, just because learning over a computer is never as engaging as a normal, like in-person classes. So what I mentioned in the beginning, one of my students wanted to spice things up and asked me to find some way to incorporate a superhero game, which is why we're now playing Batman. Plus, the whole remote learning thing actually allows for me to use a game like this, because usually when I teach with games in class, I tend to stick with video games that are kind of 3 hours or less. Like my favorite two games to teach with are What Remains of Edith Finch and Gone Home, because both of them super accessible, super easy to play. The controls are pretty much just walking around, and they're both under 3 hours, whereas this game overall is more like 8 to 9 hours. So my students don't know that I'm streaming yet, but I will, in the next class, I will tell them that I'm doing this also, and
vantage point.
It's possible some of them might want to hop in and watch here. They're all super into video games, most of them.
This is the right spot. So where did he go?
It's cool. Back in February, I had a panel at PAX East where I actually took 5 of my students with me to Boston, and were on the panel with me talking about their experience learning with video games. So my hope is that, obviously lots of conventions are being closed now, so hopefully come February or April, PAX East will still be able to happen, and that way I can bring a new group of 5 students there to speak about this experience learning online using Batman.
Killing time.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it if you don't kill anyone in the chat.
Trace stops here.
Then he should be nearby.
Found him.
What's this guy doing just chilling there? He's taking a nap? Like, what's he doing? There's a massacre 10 feet away and this dude's just sleeping.
My turn. Don't make me add your corpse to this graveyard. Falcone, why did he do this?
I ain't telling you nothing! You can't make me talk!
Oh, I'm gonna hurt him. My student did not want to hurt him.
I ain't telling you, Jack.
My students did not know what that means. They're like, Mister, isn't Jack a name? Remember, they're learning English, so they don't know all of the idioms that we use.
Bones will.
True what they said about you. You're a freaking animal.
Time to live up to my reputation. You know you can bleed to death without ever spilling a drop.
Ooh, that's intimidating. That's scary.
Tell me the plan, or I start swinging.
I'm gonna beat the crap out of this guy.
I ain't scared of you, man.
So like my student went over here and hit the barrel. Because again, my student's trying not to be a bad guy. I'm gonna hit this guy in the face. Jesus. Oh god.
Tell me. The Catwoman was supposed to hand over a drive, had the container number we needed, but she flaked. So we had to find it ourselves. Container by container. Someone must have heard us. Called the cops.
Yeah, and then you decided to take a nap.
Why risk open war with the GCPD?
Some kind of chemicals. Falcone wanted them.
What are the chemicals for?
We were paid to steal them, not ask questions. No! Stop!
So here you don't actually get a choice. You have to do what the game tells you.
I start here and keep breaking until you answer.
The chemicals! There's some kind of explosive! A weapon! I don't know! Falcone said he'd use them soon!
Used where?
That's all I know! I swear! I swear! I told you everything I know!
Oh, so yeah, here you do get a choice. I'm gonna break his arm because I'm trying to be angry and scary.
I swear!
As you can hear in my voice.
You'll never hold a gun steady again.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ. These are cops.
You're not a real doctor.
Think I need to call the coroner instead.
So my student chose to disappear, so because of that, I'm gonna talk to Gordon. Was that mean, telling you that you're not a real doctor?
Don't move!
Batman, what did you do to him?
Don't move!
He confessed to everything.
It's how you got it I'm worried about.
You have the right to remain silent.
Gordon?
I said silent! If you say another word, I will shoot you. I don't care if half the
Get your
city
cops
thinks
under
you're a
control,
hero.
Gordon.
Right now, you're a suspect.
Gordon, tell her to stand down.
Don't you dare!
You're making a mistake, Detective. You want to hear what I have to say. Falcone stole a shipment of chemicals. Appears to be a weaponized nerve agent. Causes people to go berserk. Turn violent. We need to act before he releases it.
I got a task force on it.
You already have one.
I thought you just meant to say something mean in general. I'm sorry for offending your doctor status. Whose birthday is it?
You assume the persona of a bat, but you're not an animal. You nearly killed a man tonight.
I didn't nearly kill a man, I just broke his
Your
arm.
parents didn't raise you this way. And neither did I.
I've heard this before, Alfred.
Well, my words pass straight through you. There used to be a difference between Batman and the criminals he locked up in Arkham.
George
That
Clooney was also
difference is shrinking.
Batman. That was not a
Especially
good
now,
movie.
During this preposterous attack on your family, you must show the world the true nature of a Wayne.
Giving everything to the
It's
city
fun to go
and
back
then
and
being
watch, but
murdered for
boy,
it.
My
is
thoughts
that movie
exactly
garbage.
every time you leave this cave. You're a good man, Bruce. Good. Just like your parents. Don't lose that.
But everyone says my parents were criminals.
I don't mean to be a doddering old fool on the subject, but as a friend, the burden of advice falls on me.
Sometimes this job requires hard decisions.
You're the right man to make them. In fact, I think you're the only one who can.
Let me look at my movie
Bury the
tickets
person,
again.
Bruce, but you never bury the memory.
Sometimes I wish I could. That night, that alleyway, it made me who I am. I can't get it out of my head.
That is your gift and your curse. Being Batman can allow you to turn back the tide of treachery that's reached this city's shores, or drown you in its sorrow. When you doubt your fate, remember why you started all this. Remember that boy in the alley.
I'm keeping
I
my
won't
bloody
forget.
tickets. Tell me more about why you hate Batman.
Neither will
I'm interested.
Well, back into the fray again.
Because I joke with this, so I'm a huge Superman fan. So Superman's my favorite character forever because I basically grew up reading Superman comics. That's how I learned to read, mostly. And I joke with my students. My students joke with me constantly saying that they always say Batman's the best, when I say Batman's garbage. Batman's a loser. He has nothing. Can't hold a candle to Superman. So I would love to see a Superman game like this in one day, because I know people always complain about how hard it would be to make an actual Superman game, since he's just kind of all-powerful and has all these abilities and whatnot. But if you make it a dialogue-based game, you can actually have some real, fruitful conversations and choices, right? Especially since he often has to, one of the main things, sometimes he has to choose who to go help, since he can hear a million things at once. I'm just reading your comments now. Post-traumatic growth. I think I definitely need to read more about that. Gotham feed. Blah 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 blah. We don't need to read through all this. Although I did have my students read through this one, I believe.
Looks like that egg
the back
finally
computer.
cracked. And inside, Mayor Hill was hiding more than I could have imagined. This is a complete.
See, and this is why I like Superman, because so many superheroes have this bad experience that causes them to go and be a superhero, whereas Superman's good just because he's a good person and he wants to be a good person. He wants to be a hero. He didn't, sure, his planet was destroyed, but it's not something he was cognizant of, right? He chose through his upbringing to be a hero because that's who he is.
This is it, Alfred. With this proof, we can finally knock out Falcone's organization.
Where would we possibly begin to dismantle it?
This is a police matter.
There's only one cop we can trust to handle this evidence.
Yeah, usually when you're younger, you feel like your life is a movie and you're the main character and everyone else is just side characters, when it's not really like that. Everyone is living experiences just as complex as your own.
Miss Vale. She could release this evidence through proper channels. I suppose it comes down to who you want to help most. Or
you could argue that based on the interpretation, like that's how Man of Steel kind of went. My student visited Gordon, so I'm gonna go visit Vicky Vale.
Vicky showed faith in me.
But like, it wasn't always like that in the comics.
She'll get the story out the way it needs to be told.
I like
a wise decision, sir.
It's like I grew up watching Smallville also, and that was always
Vicky through the media.
And they touched on a lot of those aspects in the show, but he was also
necessary.
Like he wasn't that alien. He might have felt alienated, but he wasn't actually pushed away by other people in the school that much beyond just like typical high school drama.
Web of goons poised to trap you. No one has ever managed to bring him down.
I haven't tried yet.
Like he did fit in. He was the star quarterback of the football team for a while. I did like Man of Steel a lot, but yeah, Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman definitely pushed.
You drop a bomb like this, there's going to be fallout.
That
not even
version of Superman a lot.
Why give it to me then? You don't know how much I appreciate it, but you're Wayne. You could have given it to anyone.
I need an ally in the press.
So my fiance is also adopted, and she mentioned
I'd
something
say you got
similar.
One for life. Falcone's slippery, but this is enough to hang him out to dry. What this could do for the city, my career, I'm just wondering what the cost is going to be.
It'll be worth it.
I don't know, Bruce. Falcone doesn't like bad press. If I run this story, I put a price on my head. The next time my name appears in the media, God, it might be an obituary. Falcone has a way of handling reporters he doesn't like.
Buy a bulletproof vest. It's the dress code for reporters here.
Thanks for the tip, but I've held my own so far. I always think, crime in the city, it's a hydra. You cut off one criminal's
Yeah, the writing and storytelling definitely could have been stronger in Man of Steel. I will not claim. I enjoyed the movie, but I will not claim that it's a masterpiece of storytelling.
If we don't act fast, that void will be filled by someone far worse. Wouldn't be the first time.
I definitely don't trust Harvey,
Lieutenant
but that's
Gordon.
just my bias.
He has his badge in the right place.
Yeah, well, I hope that's enough. Sometimes the rest of the force, they have their own agenda. It's a good thing you gave this to me instead of the police. Could end up buried in some evidence locker and not on every screen in Gotham where it belongs.
Public attention. That's what brings down men like Falcone. Not a bullet.
Yeah, no, my fiance
Well, after my
also.
story
So
runs,
she was born in China, but she's adopted here.
I'll be seeing you, Bruce.
So she always knew that, by a white family, so she always knew that she was adopted as well.
It's done.
Good. So is our hunt. The drones located Falcone downtown, a place called the Skyline Club.
I love this part. Watch this.
Though you're not dressed for that kind of party.
Well, I can always change in the car.
See, this is actually practical, right? To actually have your Batmobile be with you at all times. Although you probably shouldn't have it transform like this in broad daylight. I am not a good driver, so yes, I would have done a 5-point turn. I'm actually a fine driver, but now that I live in New York City, I just take public transportation every way, so I haven't had a car for a long time.
The drone's cameras and scanning tech are fully functional.
All right.
I do kind of miss it. I like driving short distance, but anytime I drive like more than 2 hours, I tend to get really tired. I always have to stop for coffee on the way.
Good point of entry.
I was actually okay at parallel parking. I remember during my driver's test, I didn't mess up. I got a perfect score.
The entire floor is under surveillance. You'll be detected as soon as you enter.
No time for subtlety.
I think it was actually right around this part in the game where my students started asking if their choices mattered. And so we started having a conversation about how the typical dialogue that you're choosing doesn't really affect the main story. The story's going to play out pretty much no matter what you do. But the moments where, like, you can choose to go to Gordon or you can choose to go to Vicky Vale will change your relationships with the characters as it goes forward.
Tell me another.
What's the difference between the Mafia and City Council?
I don't know. Aren't they the same thing?
Only one of them is organized.
Ooh.
I didn't know the Mafia did dad jokes too. I like this guy.
So, you alone?
Not anymore, I'm not.
That was smooth.
Where's Nikki? In lockup. Again? Christ, Kimmy. What did they pinch him for now? Some hit.
So it's hilarious. So basically we're eavesdropping on these characters right now, and a lot of my students are native Spanish speakers from the Dominican Republic. And the way to say eavesdrop is come boca, which literally translates to eat mouth, like you're eating someone's mouth. I don't believe that's in all Spanish-speaking countries, but at least in the Dominican Republic, it's kind of the slang. So they constantly were saying in the chat, eat mouth, the whole time.
Last time I bet. All it took was a couple of C notes this time. Nice.
All right, see you later, Dr. Space Cowboy. Thanks for hanging out with us.
The whole city can smell it.
I'm gonna be back here again next week at 7:30 to play through episode 2. There we go.
The White Rose. Falcone's symbol.
A red rose after tonight. Nothing here.
There we go. One more, I think? Yeah.
That's the most heavily guarded door in the building.
Gotta be Falcone's hideout.
Well, it won't be as easy as ringing the doorbell.
I think there's only about
4
10 or 15 more minutes total.
Stealth not an option. I'll put together a plan of attack. Stand by.
Let's see, we do want to...
Couple of options for taking this guy down.
See, in real life, drones make a ton of noise. In comic book life, drones make zero noise at all. I remember there's a funny YouTube video of or not a video, there's a company that would like have a drone at your wedding ceremony. And like to get vantage points, but they're super loud. How could you possibly have a drone at your wedding? No one will be able to hear anything. speaking of weddings and drinks, I'm recently engaged, and we were supposed to be getting married this summer. We're still going to be getting married, but we're actually going to have an online wedding since we can't really all get together, and we live in New York City, which is hit pretty hard by the coronavirus at this point, so we don't want to risk having any type of large crowd. So we'll be having an online wedding come this summer. Yeah, there's another one.
This one might be tricky. Any ideas?
I've got it covered, Al.
Table, or let's throw them into this thing. I kind of like this
Bruce,
interface that shows how Batman's planning out his attack. Yeah, I'm going
in.
Very good, sir. Your turn to crash his party.
Good one, Alfred. The blood effects in this game are funny. It's like sort of ketchup packet. Oh, that. I think it was here, my students were like, Mr. they all have the same animation. See, my controller doesn't have the colors, and I keep looking at my controller to make sure I'm clicking the right button, but my controller's just all blue.
Goddamn circus freak!
No, Robin is the circus freak, not Batman. This guy's gotta get his
Show yourself!
insults
You
correct.
got no goddamn right to be here!
Thank you, Potter.
I
Oop,
want...
oop.
The hell? Oh. How about this one? You can't sneak up on me.
EMP armed.
Like the battering in his back, it's making me think of this scene from 21 Jump Street when Jonah Hill gets stabbed in the back. If you guys remember the fight scene at the party.
Yeah. You think that's gonna work? I'm gonna light up this whole
This guy's like Scarface.
Get your goddamn hands off of my suit!
Stay down, Falcone. We can end this now.
You got a lot to learn, kid.
He just assumes I'm a young guy. How does he know? Are things like this exist in real life? These turret guns? Ooh, my special
Explosives
attack.
armed. Fire when ready.
EMP only works as a plot device. Oh, I messed up and got shot in the face. Oh, let's do that again.
Explosives armed. Fire when ready.
That would probably have killed him. Oh, I'm definitely gonna stab his hand.
Answers, now, or you fall.
You wouldn't.
That's right, threaten him.
All right.
The chemicals. Where are they?
What?
I found your calling card at the docks. The White Rose.
You think I wanted to lead you here? Yeah, something reeks about this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, who would just leave, like I said earlier, who would just leave a White Rose there for everyone to know who massacred people? It's an interesting decision coming up that I want to choose the opposite of my sins to see what happens, because I'm not sure what will happen.
They're mine, all right? But someone is trying to cut me out of the deal because I did not make that mess at the docks.
Then who did?
No, we're done. Gotham's watching now. Go ahead.
So we get
Give him
this
a show. I'll be walking free by
choice.
tomorrow
My student hung him up here. I'm not sure what happens. Brutalize. I'm gonna brutalize him. Why not?
Whoa, wait. What the hell are you?
Oh, I don't like this. Oh, Jesus. That was way worse than I thought it was gonna be.
Spill it, Falcone, while you still can.
It's the Waynes. They're behind all this.
Okay, so the story's the same. It's just how you get the information out of him is what's different.
You really want to take down crime? Well, the Waynes.
Yeah, it's the same thing. He tells you go for the Waynes, the same picture on the floor. So not too much of a difference in the story, but definitely how people will react to Batman is different.
Oh my god! Take him out!
Oh yeah, they definitely started shooting more. So they do shoot at you with the other dialogue choice, but it was definitely more drawn out. They didn't shoot right away like they did there. I think we're about to get to the last epilogue of the episode.
Fire and smoke could reportedly be seen from street level. Tonight, the Skyline Club, a high-rise mafia hangout in downtown Gotham, was the arena for a clash between the notorious Batman and alleged mob boss Carmine Falcone, who was brutally wounded in the attack. Oh! Though I'd say the crime boss getting his is well overdue, Falcone
took that picture of him.
grasp for years, but after this dramatic arrest and a stunning expose by Gazette reporter Vicky Vale, Falcone's going away for a long, long time. And speaking of newly uncovered criminal dealings, this brings me to the story everyone is talking about: the Wayne family. For generations, the big W on the Wayne
So I do like that they're adding this, like I said, this criminality to the Wayne family's past, because that is different from previous interpretations.
But with Thomas and
And I like seeing unique takes on these characters, and their stories have been told a million times by this point.
Even worse, it seems the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. Gotham's greatest son, Bruce Wayne, seen here in the company of gangsters.
So my student shook his hand saying that he wanted to act strong, and then they showed it on the news. He was just like, "Oh no, mister, I made the wrong decision." So I'm happy that I chose not to shake the guy's hand.
In a world where the Waynes, our golden family, are corrupt, who are we left with? Who can Gothamites look up to? The monster Batman? Only time will tell. Meanwhile, we'll keep digging for the truth. But the prominent feeling throughout Gotham is that the Waynes' time in the sun is ending.
Oh, Batman's angry.
The suit, the car, this entire cave.
Master Bruce?
Everything I built! I created all of this because I didn't want any more innocent people to die! If Falcone's telling the truth about my parents, then what the hell did we do this for? Bruce, What have you been hiding from me?
I like this part. It's one of the few times I feel like you get some real emotion out of Bruce's voice. And I know Troy Baker's the voice actor, and I love Troy Baker and all the roles that he does, but I think he did a good job in this scene. So yeah, that's the end of episode 1, Realm of Shadows. So let's compare. So you and 67.1% of players defied Falcone by inviting Harvey to the private meeting. That was something the opposite of what my students did. They kept Harvey out of the meeting. You and 84% of players chose to control the emerging main story and provided Vicky with a quote. I actually don't remember which one my student chose to do, because remember, I was actually in a meeting at the same time as this class. This is hard. I was going back and forth between the two. So did you break the shooter's arm? So you and 48.7%, so actually less than usual. And my student didn't do it because he was trying to be a more upstanding Batman. Yeah, I'm hoping that none of the other teachers or administration noticed that I was also playing this game with my students up. And they know I have the class, but now that we're all teaching from home, it's not always a set time. It's usually on Wednesdays, but when we start can vary depending on when the students are available. So you and 27% of players gave the data to Vicky Vale. My student chose to give it to Gordon. Clearly a lot of other people agreed with that. You and 18% of players choose to brutalize Falcone, making an example of him. So yeah, in the other one, you don't hurt him like that. You just kind of hang him up for the world to see and just threaten him. But you don't actually stab him through the thigh with a big bar coming out of the building. What's cool about this, so continue to next time on, so it'll actually show kind of like a TV show. It's going to show a preview for next week's episode.
When your parents died,
and we'll stop playing after this, and then come next Wednesday at 7:30, I'll play through episode 2 of the game.
I would never betray them.
Which I played with my students today.
Your parents were good people, Bruce, no matter what that thug Falcone told you.
Then swear to me there's no truth to it.
That scoop you brought me on Falcone helped me more than you could possibly know. I owe you one.
I'm sure Falcone's taken harder beatings in the past. Hopefully this one knocks something useful out of him.
Hell of a view.
I actually don't think these are scenes from
I have to do what's best for my campaign. What's best
the game per se. Or they're not exactly the same scenes that you see in episode 2, which is kind of cool.
I will find the truth. Along with anyone who stands in my way.
Oh, and I get some comments. Alright, so that's it. Thank you guys so much for coming to hang out with me while I play through this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I gave you some cool insight on how the game is used in education. Obviously, always feel free to ask more questions as I play through it. And we'll play through episode 2 next Wednesday. Alright, have a good night, everyone. See you guys later.